Welcome to part 2 of the video, and I want to focus a little bit on the research component of this. Every paper that you do for me will have research in it, a little bit in the beginning, 1 source, 2 sources, and then by the end of the semester your fourth paper is all about research. And what you're going to do is, once you've picked your video that you're going to analyze, then what you're going to do is a little research on it. And I'm asking for one of two things. You're going to look at some articles on the college databases, and you're going to do what is called reading against the grain. And that basically means to question the text. Sometimes when somebody's making an argument, they will leave something out because it'll weaken their argument. And that's not great either. People do it all the time. So are they leaving something out? Are they not considering something? Well, they said this, but what they're not thinking about is that. So that's where you come in. If in your research it looks like that everything that the host had to say was correct, and they weren't leaving anything out, then what you're going to do is share with me what others are saying about the topic, what else is going on in the news. And I think I mentioned this in the last part of the first video. This is part of the prompt, and it must come before your conclusion because you still have new information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this link. It's going to take you right to the college databases. And just so you know, there is a difference between these databases and, say, Google or Yahoo, because they are trustworthy. You can believe what the people have to say. They're from good, legitimate news sources. They're not trying to sell you anything. Let me go back 1 second. If you're on campus, you can just log right in. If you're at home, you can just do your research as well. They'll ask you to log in with your username and password. But I wanted to share with you, it may not come up with this class, but if you have something going on in history or psychology, sociology, and you have a question about one of the search engines or the databases or research in general, you can ask a librarian a question. And depending on when you do it, you may get a Southwestern College librarian if it's during the day, but if it's at 2 o'clock in the morning, chances are you're getting somebody from maybe somewhere in Europe or Australia. You never know. So we're going to go to articles and databases. And the databases that I mentioned in the prompts are EBSCOhost and Nexus Uni. But I'm thinking EBSCOhost and ProQuest are going to be your 2 best bets. Just so you know, they do narrow this down. So say you're taking a health class and you need health-specific information, or you're taking an art or a history class, they break it down here in specific disciplines, science, business, and so on. So I'm going to go to EBSCOhost. And I'm going to type in food waste because that was the topic of the video that you saw with John Oliver. If I could type, that would be nice. And you'll see here that there's a few different categories. So in the US or in America, there's articles just on solutions. Let's look at, there's food waste in restaurants. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's just say food waste in the United States. And it's going to think. And there's 733 hits. Well, we don't have time to look at all 733. So what I'm going to do is click here on full text, and that means the whole article is there. You don't have to go searching for it somewhere else. And then what I'm also going to do is change the publication date. This one starts at 1942, but you want things that are fairly current. So this one goes from 2016 to 2018, and we go from 654 to 147, which is much better. Oh, look, and there's a help pop-up right here in case you need it. I think they respond to you pretty quickly, too. I'm going to get rid of this all results here, and I'm just going to focus on magazines and newspapers. So, magazines, it went down to 32, which is very doable. So, this apple could have been saved, waste not, want not. Let's look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you choose this one, and just so you know, this abstract here gives you a brief summary, so you'll save some time figuring out if you can use it or not. you're going to read through the article, and if they mention something that John Oliver or Trevor Noah does not, that would be part of reading against the grain, and that would be a paragraph about what they could be leaving out or what they could be missing. If it seems very similar to the video that you selected, then you're just going to tell me what the article was about and how it connects to the video that you watched. One thing that's pretty nice, well, you can download it so you can save it, but let's just say you're on the bus or on the trolley or you're at the gym on the elliptical, you can listen to the article as well. And just because I have no life, I want an Australian accent. And let's see if this goes for us. Maybe. I'm not here. There we go.
The bad and the ugly. Contents. 1. How to think about the food we waste. Edible life. How to think about the food we waste. Why do some food issues catch fire while others languish, inert or mired in controversy? Food waste is one. Seemingly overnight, it has gone from being the province of humorless scolds to what every cool kid is talking about. Nose-to-tail use of animals you butchered yourself was one thing. But these days you can't hold your head up as a professional chef or even home cook unless you can turn out to mean garbage salad.
All right. So, you get the point. And, just so you know, if you're still with me, with most of the videos that I post on how to go over the paper, I will drop in a little Easter egg of sorts. And this Easter egg is these two words here. If you put those two words in the comments box when you submit your paper, I will add 2.5 points to your paper. All right. So, the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you can use this, great.
The good, the
Oh,
bad,
sorry. Let's
and
go
the
back.
ugly.
Okay, I got you. All right. Keeping food waste out of the landfill. The click that's changing how school kids eat. Reducing food wastage. So see what you can come up with. Find something that jumps out at you. And this is the research that you'll have to do for your paper. Now, for this paper, there's only one source. In the next paper, there may be two. But by the end of the semester, your essay is a full-on research paper, so you're going to be using more than one source. So I'm going to go back to the databases, maybe, if I can find my link here. And I'm going to go over here to ProQuest. Now, ProQuest is very similar, except it's mainly just newspapers. And the video that you watched or will watch for Samantha Bee is on Facebook privacy and how they're basically selling out all the people who are on Facebook. So I'm going to click on, I'm going to type in Facebook privacy. And there are 9,500 results. I already have it on full text, but I'm going to knock it down to magazines. So there were 17 magazines. Is it already there? Okay. All right, so there's 17. So big text war on privacy. In the age of Facebook, a rare win for Privacy Illinois. Most privacy violations don't carry a risk of violence, which is exactly why the problem is so insidious. Let's look at open secrets. And because Facebook is fairly new, like in the last 10 years, you don't need to narrow the window of time for this one. Just check something. This one is already pretty recent. So again, this one has, well, first of all, let's see. Just so you know, you can email this to yourself. You can save it. You can print it. They do give you an information here for citation, which is MLA format, which we will talk about soon, but this is good to know. So there's no excuse for you not to do your works cited page correctly. But the abstract here tells me what the article is about. And then let's just say you like it, then you would either analyze how this is adding something to or hurting the person's argument, Samantha Bee's argument, or if it's basically what Samantha Bee had to say, then what you would do is you would just tell me, the reader, how this article goes along with what Samantha Bee has to say. And that's it. That is your basic research. So for this one, you just need one source. And if you're feeling adventurous, so one source, one paragraph, because the rule of thumb is one idea per paragraph. If you're feeling especially adventurous, then what you can do is use, maybe you have 2 articles that you really like. You could do 1 paragraph per article. So don't feel limited by 3 pages or 4 pages. I don't want to read a 10-page paper this early in the semester, so don't get that impression. But if you have 2 paragraphs to talk about, you have 2 paragraphs to talk about. So I think that was it for research. I'm going to do one more video, woohoo, and that's going to be on MLA format. So stay tuned.